Yeah, good afternoon, members of the media. Yeah, we expect a very difficult game against five times Champions League champions, and our last encounter in Congo was not so good from a result perspective. But I think if we play the way we played in Congo, we should be all right. We created a lot of chances. If my memory serves me well, I think we had something like 16 shots at goal, 9 on target. We had probably the highest XG that we've had in the group stages. And also, I mean, we dominated the game. We had something like close to 600 passes, 62% ball possession, and we still lost the game. But I think if we play the same way and we play with the same intensity, we should be all right for a good result on the weekend.
Good afternoon, media. I think the boys they are ready for the game, so we'll give our all, our A game as Sundowns. In training, what they are doing perfectly well, and the coach is giving us good things in training. So I think the boys they are ready. They're gonna put in A game. We want to finish strong in our group, so that we can finish on top of the group.
Yeah. Yeah, no, nothing from a technical perspective. I don't think we expect much. Fortunately, we used it earlier in the season as our home ground, so we're quite familiar with the turf. We will train there tomorrow, just to get a little bit more of a familiarity around it. And that's football, you know. Football, you've got to be prepared to play everywhere, anywhere, and play to your best every single time. And that's what I expect. I expect a good game of football. It's a good pitch. There was a lot of investment done by the club to make sure that the pitch was ready and has a surface that is good enough to host a Mamelodi Sundowns game. And the last time we played there was a few months ago, not so long ago, against SuperSport, and we got a good result there. So we've got good feelings about Lucas, and we're very familiar with the pitch, the atmosphere that can also be created there, and yeah, that is it. You know, it's we just have to perform whether we play Loftus or Lucas. We've just got to perform, and that's the mentality going into this game. Yeah, sure. I wish I was there for the entire journey. I remember I left maybe a season after that, so I missed a couple of the steps in the 10-year journey. But for the last 6 years, we've been in the quarterfinals. Last season, we were in the semifinals for the very first time in something like 4 or 5 occasions. And we want to be that team that's always there. You know, we have to try to be there all the time. It's not good enough to think that you can win a continental trophy without a big stamp on the continent, and that stamp means that you've got to be in the quarterfinals every year. You've got to be in the semifinals, and this is what Al Ahly are doing. This is what Wydad are doing. They are there every single season. They are in the quarterfinals. They are in the semifinals, and to take a place that we feel we rightfully deserve, to be amongst not just the best teams on the continent, but maybe even some of the best teams in the world. We've got to make sure that we are in that space for the continental competitions. We're in the semi-finals, we're in the finals, we are competing for that space, and this is the mentality we want to have, so that eventually we can break the monopoly of the North African sides in terms of dominating continental competitions, particularly from a club perspective. But we know how difficult that is, because you're not only fighting against very good teams who know the space of Champions League, but you're also fighting principalities. You know, you're fighting football heritage, and that's the space we want to be in, and that's the space we are fighting very hard to try to be part of. You know, and as long as we keep doing that and have that ambition, eventually we will win the Champions League, because you've got to be in a position to be able to compete for the Champions League, and that's part of our plan for the medium to long term, and it's something that excites me greatly.
Okay, yeah, it's a big one. It's a big one for me. I played before in 2016, and then now I'm playing again in Mamelodi Sundowns. It's good for me. I'm gaining a lot of confidence because I'm having good players surrounding me. They keep on pushing me. Yeah, and then I think I'm gonna to try to put my A game each and every game for the team, for the club, and for the players and for the coaches.
It's a difficult question to answer because I mean I would presume that if you were to pose the same question to Carlo Ancelotti at Real Madrid, or maybe even to Pep or Klopp or whoever, some of the big teams on the European space, they would say to you that, of course, winning the Champions League is important. Is the standard higher? I don't know really, because there are games where I feel that we are tested more in the domestic competitions from a tactical perspective, and then there are games where I think we are stretched a little bit more. I think Mazembe is a case in point. I think in Lubumbashi we struggled a little bit with dominating the pitch, whether that was because of the climate or the synthetic pitch. I am not so sure whether it was the physicality and but even though we had a lot of the ball and even though we had a lot of chances, I don't think we dominated the pitch well enough, you know. And the space of Champions League has to be a space for sure that is higher. Although I still also believe that the competition really starts in the quarterfinals. The Champions League competition is when you have the 8 best teams going into the quarterfinals. I think that's when really the Champions League starts. But the DStv Premiership is a very good competition. I mean, we sometimes, it's like this expression that I use with the players. You know, sometimes when you come into your house, you see these sofas that you see every single day, that you devalue them because they are right there in your eyes, and then eventually you put your techies on top, you start to put the plate of food on top of these sofas, up until you see them, you sell them, and you see them in someone else's house. And then you're like, oh, these things are actually very beautiful. And that's the same with the DStv Premiership. A lot of work has gone into making it one of the best leagues in the world. The stats show, and even the number of players that went to represent the DStv Premiership in the AFCON was significantly above the rest of the other countries and domestic competitions or leagues. And then, of course, you've got to play 30 games, and 30 games means you are really the best of the best because you play home and away and you play each and every single opponent. So from that perspective, I wouldn't say that the one is better than the other because I don't think that you are in the Champions League without winning the league title or doing well in the domestic competition. That is to finish first or second. And that makes it more important for sure because it's a means to qualify. And then of course then it's the Champions League is the Champions League because it's got all the champions. And then that makes it also a little bit difficult. But I think the DStv Premiership is a strong competition and one that for sure is a very important competition for us as a football club, just as equally important as the Champions League. Yeah, we need Brian all the time. Brian is a special breed, very special. For Brian to be playing football still, to even have played those 20 games, he's defying logic. I mean, when he had a very serious injury to his knee, I mean, from a physiological perspective, he should have stopped playing football. And so for the mere fact that Brian is still at 20 games or has 20 games for Sundowns, and he trains the way he trains, he has the attitude he has, he's an unbelievable human being, very special. his leadership in the change room is so important. We're also very fortunate that we've got so many captains in our team. We've got Divine, who's been a captain before, Ronwen, who's a captain for Bafana, Brian, who's a national team captain for Kenya, Peter, who's a national team captain, Toby Mbala was captain at Highlands Park. I can go on and on and on. So fortunately for us as the technical team, we've got a very strong team, a very good group of human beings, and a special group, and it's a group that I honestly think that I'm extremely privileged to have, and I wake up every day with the desire to learn from them too. I learn a lot. I ask, I speak, I talk, I pose a lot of questions, I listen, and they teach me a lot of things. They make me think about how to adapt and to improve the team and how we play. And for sure, I think. Like Brian, we've got far too many special people who have defied odds and have continued to grow and improve. And I think as a football club, we are very, 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 very lucky to have some of the characters and the personalities that we have in our team. Yeah, it's different cases. I mean, there's different scenarios. Divines is different to a Promise Mkuma, for an example. So there are players that to complete their developmental phase and get ready for high performance, they've got to go to a team that's maybe a team that's got less pressure, and that's a more polite way of putting it. Less prestige, less pressure. But also, if you look at how a player like Mkhulisi, for an example, he went to Black Leopards, and Black Leopards, a former PSL team in Limpopo, conditions not so good, and you have to fight and help them to survive relegation. That already is, even from a tactical perspective, extremely stretching. And then, of course, from a pressure perspective, to the pressure may be different to the pressure at Sundowns, because the pressure at Sundowns is to win every single game. And maybe in some of the other clubs, you can accept maybe drawing or maybe even losing some of the games against the bigger teams, especially away from home. But this is part of the journey, and some of the players complete their developmental pathway or their cycle in a space where they're already ready for first team football and they can produce the results at a club like Sundowns. And so you have to send out on loan to get some experience and some exposure, and maybe even to be stretched a little bit, so it's not really a cut and paste type of scenario. It's tailored to the needs of the individual, and also the constraints from a legal and a documentation type of perspective. And I think you understand what I mean with regards to Divine. So his story is completely different. What will it take for us to win the Champions League? It's going to take a lot of consistency, a lot of hard work, and also a lot of luck. I think this competition, to win it, you need a lot of luck. You only have to go to last season, for an example, where with one game to go, Al Ahly are already out of the competition. At the AFCON, look at the AFCON. So in these type of competitions that are high level, maybe there's not so much of a big difference between the teams. You need a little bit of luck, and I think if you look at Ivory Coast's story with regards to how they won AFCON, already out, coach out, and then after the last game in the group stages, these people qualify, and then they all go on, and then they ride the crest of that wave, and they go all the way with that momentum, and they lift the trophy. Same with Al Ahly, and maybe you could even speak a little bit about it with our AFL victory, and how we, because you go to Egypt, in the first half you get a penalty against you. You've got your 10 men, and it's completely difficult, but you need to be brave. You need to show a lot of courage, and you also need to be there. You have to be there. You've got to be in the quarterfinals. You've got to be in the semifinals. You've got to be in the finals, And when you are there, then you can dream of going further. You can feel the need to outstretch your wings and try to soar slightly higher than you have. And as daunting a task as it may seem and sound, is something that we believe is possible. It's something that is within reach, but you've got to go one game at a time, and you've got to go one stage of the competition at a time and try your level best to perform right there and then. And then hopefully the football gods smile upon you and support you. But exactly that, we've got to be there. We've got to be in the quarterfinals, we've got to be in the semifinals, and we've got to try to be in the finals repeatedly, and hopefully one day God smiles upon us and rewards our hard work and due diligence. I think if we still have to send a message, then there's something wrong. Really, I think if people think, I always say it. I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same thing I get asked sometimes about Peter Lushalulile. Are you worried about? No, I'm not worried, because Peter has proven that he will score, and Peter will score. I have no doubt about it. Sundowns have proven that they are one of the best teams on the continent, and we will win the Champions League. Eventually we'll win the Champions League. What we have to do is we have to make sure that our performances are good enough, we are consistent, and we work every single day hard to put ourselves in that position. That's what we can concentrate on and we can control. The rest is up to God Almighty. You know, what God tries to, it's a biblical principle, you know. Men plan and do everything that they can to reach a certain, but it's God who decides. And that's a biblical principle. So you've got to always live in hope and faith, which is an extremely important part of being highly spiritual or in that space from a religious perspective. But that's where we are. You've got to work hard, put yourself in a position to receive, and when God says yes, hopefully you are ready and you can receive the blessings. The worst thing in life is to be presented with an opportunity and not be prepared. That's the worst thing in life. The feeling of regret haunts you for forever and ever, because you don't always get these opportunities, and so we've got to be in a position where we are ready for the blessings that can be bestowed upon us as a reflection of our hard work and the amount of hours we put into this job. And I think this group is a special group, and is special enough and maybe even talented enough to be able to do something in this season's competition.
I think as far as players, like at Sundowns, we have to win each and every game. The effort that we put in the field, each and every training, I think that's where the big blessing are coming from. Because we have to win each and every game. The focus is to win each and every game. Doesn't matter whether it's a small team or big team, but we want to put in a game so that you can win, because we always train to win. No one like to lose. Every team wants to win, but as for the Sundown wants to win every game that we play. Whether it's a friendly match or league game or cup game, we have to win. For me, I'm happy to be here. I'm truly happy. I'm happy. The good thing that I can say, the people that they are surrounded me in this team, everyone from the technical, the manager, the players, everyone was kind to me. First day when I arrived here, it was the same thing. And then the same story when I came back. They were telling me push. And then I was training with the team, so that wasn't different with me, because I was part of the team. That was a matter of time, and then now I'm playing. Not that I wasn't training or I was sitting at home, just sitting only. I was training with the team here, and then go back home, and then I will do my extra work so that I get ready for my time. When my time comes, I produce what I have on the pitch.
Yeah. I think it has. I mean, you only have to look at South Africa's performances at AFCON. And many of those players that made incredible contributions at AFCON are players that were part and played a huge role in Sunhouse's winning of the AFL. What it does give you is a target on your back. And I speak to the players about this all the time. I said to them, immediately after we won the AFL, I saw Maseko put a status on WhatsApp immediately after, and he said, "I really do not believe what I've just done." And I screenshotted it and I've saved it because sometimes players don't realize that blessings and burdens are cousins, and the blessing of having won the AFL comes with the burden and the responsibility of having to carry this target on your back all the time, where everybody wants to beat you and everybody wants the bragging rights to say we were the first or we beat. And it's the same in Mazembe. I mean, when we walked off the pitch, you could sense not only by mere actions and words, but in the atmosphere, you could sense a very strong feeling of we've done it, you know. And for some teams, just to beat the defending AFL champions or to beat Mamelodi Sundowns is as worthy as winning a trophy, you know. So it's the responsibility that comes with it that really is what I focus on, and that responsibility is what we try every single day to work towards, is to make sure that we are a completely difficult team to play against. We respect every single opposition. I mean, you've got to look at this TP Mazembe side, and you look at the quality that they have from the back. I mean, Keita, I think, is probably one of the best players. He played for Mauritania, you saw already. Yal, aggressive at right back. Oladapo, incredible motor capacity. The fire up front, Traore up front, Fofana up front, speed, aggression, left foot, right foot, shots from range, very good teams. But we know we have to do our homework, and we have to make sure that we give the players enough information to be able to fight and put ourselves in a better position than we were last season. I would take the current situation as it is with open arms, because when I look at where we are, number one in the league, with games in hand, and it's the same story, but they are not number one. And I'm talking about Mazembe is not number one. They've got games in hand, sure, but not number one in their own domestic league. Pyramid's not number one in their own domestic league. Not even Al Ahly is number one, even though they've played half the number of games in their domestic competition. We've already got a trophy. We were in the final of the MTN 8, which is something we didn't do last season. And now we qualified for the quarterfinals, and now we try to finish on top of the group. We've reached another benchmark and a target of ours, which was to obtain 10 points. We now have 10 points, and the second benchmark is to see whether we can finish first, and that's a huge probability with Saturday's game. And then we have to then start thinking about the next couple of games, which are going to be very difficult for us, both in the domestic league and the domestic cup with another game that is waiting for us. So yeah, it's tough, but that's the, you know, where the wind blows hardest on the top of the tree, and we dared to dream, and we dared to start climbing, and now we've got to deal with not just the benefits of looking down on everybody, but also the pressure that comes with it. And but we are getting there. Slowly we are getting there, and that's the most important thing. It's difficult to say and to preempt, and I'll tell you why. Because when you analyze the games, when they've got a bit of pressure away from home, they've got the profile, and they've got centre backs. Mkonko, for an example, is a beast around the box. He gives nothing away. Fati, the goalkeeper, a great shot stopper, great reflexes, they're a team, Lekonza in the midfield, Oladapo. They're a team that is very comfortable to sit behind the ball. Very, very low block away from home. Very comfortable low block away from home that looks for the long ball and maybe even the second phase to be able to spring a powerful counter-attack where Ntimba and Keita can join on transitions with the fullbacks, very aggressive, and then they put the balls into the box. Or maybe even diagonals where they release Fofana, they release Fire, they've got a Traore even, the physicality, the speed, and the profile of that team. But this game, they've got nothing to lose. They come into the game, they've qualified, and so maybe they try different things and they explore, and that's what we have to deal with. I don't think that there is a certain way that they will come with it. I think there's a little bit of less pressure on them because in the AFL they didn't do so well. They were knocked out already in the quarterfinals, first round, and so qualifying for the knockouts for the Champions League is probably a big achievement for them already. And I think for them, whether they finish first or second, I don't think is a very, very important thing, because I think the most important target for them was to get out of the group, and they've done that. So whether they'll come at us, I haven't seen them with that personality except in their home games in the domestic competition. I mean, the last 3-4 games, there was 8-0, 6-1, 5-1 in the games that I watched in the domestic competition. They are scoring goals for fun. So we know how difficult it can be for us against this team. A very good side with some very, very good players, and we have to be ready to compete and to get ourselves into a better position than what we currently are at. And this is the truth, no? I'm really honest. I don't know how much we are spending. No, seriously. So I can't answer that question because really, I don't know. I don't know how much we pay for transfers. I don't know how much people are earning on the contracts. It's a part of the football club that doesn't sit on my table, and I'm fortunate that I own only Black Poison, and there we just fetch a player when we see her. We fetch. So unfortunately, I'm not in a position to answer that question because I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know the budget at Al Ahly. I don't know the budget at Wydad. I don't know Sundown's budget either. FIFA report.
We can speak to the facts, but theoretically.
Oh, no, then we'll get Flemingberg to sit here. Answer that question. No, it falls under his portfolio position. Shoes. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, T. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.